Welcome back, everybody, to another exhilarating episode of Lockdown 23 and 1. I do apologize if my audio sounds a bit echoey. Look, my room is completely empty. I got some big changes going on behind the scenes and it's been taking a lot of my time up. Nothing related to content or making money, it's actually just for the family. I'll break it down soon enough. And one more thing before we get going. Look, some of these docus are a bit old, but I refurbish them. I don't give a damn if it was recorded in 1812 with no audio and sound vibrations. If it's prison related, I'ma react to it and add it to the portfolio. Until they start letting me go into prison and recording my own footage, then I'ma have to maintain whatever footage I can see on the tube. But I can promise you this, my content has the knowledge you need to hear. Now with that being said, let's travel to Northern California and take a look inside of Santa Rita Jail. We're going to take it all the way back to 1947. This is the year that the original Santa Rita Jail was built, and it was intended to replace Alameda's County Prison Farm. It was built on 1,000 acres of Camp Shoemaker, a World War II naval base near the current site. But by 1983, the overcrowding became a serious issue, so they came up with plans to establish the new Santa Rita prison that came in at a whopping $172 million. Which ain't too much considering nowadays we just reacted to a brand new prison in Utah where that price ticket was over $1 billion. And not to mention, rumors have been spreading that the new Rikers Island's gonna exceed the one in Utah. But the brand new $172 million facility was opened in 1989, and that's the facility that we're gonna be looking at today. Welcome to Santa Rita Jail in Dublin, California. It's operated by the Alameda County Sheriff's Office with a design capacity to hold over 3,000 inmates. Santa Rita is one of the largest jails in the United States, bigger than some California state prisons. The jail sits adjacent from the Federal Correctional Institution, Dublin, which I've had a few people on the channel tell some wild stories from that place. Santa Rita has one of the highest rates of in-custody deaths for county jails in California. As a matter of fact, within the first 2 months of 2023, 4 inmates have died. It's been the recipient of many class action lawsuits regarding jail conditions and medical care. As with most jails, the majority of people incarcerated in Santa Rita are still going through the court process, waiting to see if they can be found guilty or innocent. The lucky ones go home, but a lot of people go to the prison system, and Santa Rita is a jail that will definitely get you ready for it. Now this facility has 2 major wings. The first one's called East Side. It can hold up to 300 inmates, and it houses protective custody and low security dorm living. Now wing number 2 is considered to be West Side. You got the maximum security inmates with 2-man cells, which if I were to guess is their general population. They also got the segregation unit, which is separate from protective custody, unlike some prisons that I've seen that like to put them all into one housing unit. But the seg unit's designed specifically for troublemakers, not so much individuals that's scared to be in prison. Now even though this place looks like a prison, you gotta keep in mind it's a jail. And jails see a lot of activity. As a matter of fact, this place sees about 60,000 people a year. Unreal. That's called traffic right there, y'all. Now, a lot of you already know the process of jail. You start getting booked, you know your charges, and then you start to get classified. That's something I haven't talked too much about on this channel. Classification happens in jail and in prison. But don't get it twisted, they are totally different places. Matter of fact, I used to get a little cranky when I first got out and people say, hey man, you fresh out of jail, huh? Prison, man, prison. I was just playing, I ain't get all crazy like that, but yeah, there's definitely a difference between the two. But classification is something that's going to be there for both of them. When I first went in, they had these wristbands, different color wristbands. Green, orange, red, green being minimal, orange, medium, red being high risk or violent. I had violent crimes, so they always, even when I got out of prison, went back, put me right back into the red band again. I'll never forget, the first block was D block, 2 Delta, Seaside. Man, that was a damn treacherous time there. Terrified. I'll never forget the prayer going into the cell block. I said, Lord, put a hedge of protection around me and bring some angels to protect me. Cause I ain't gonna be able to protect myself. I'll never forget that first night, man. I had a spork in my hand. I knew damn well the spork wasn't gonna do nothing, but I had it in my hand, man. Underneath my pillow while I slept all night. You tried me. I'll never forget it, man. I mean, it was something out of a damn movie. My cell had the biggest inmate in the cell block too. His name, if I remember correctly, and I don't like to name names, but this was a long time ago. I don't know no dirt on him or nothing. I just knew his name. He was a cellmate. Big T-Bird. That dude was huge, man, and he had one big ass gold tooth. The rest stuck out like a crocodile, man. That dude was massive. He had these plaits like things in his hair, like he was trying to start cornrows, man. That dude was huge though, and he used to hit pull-ups on a regular basis like nothing. I mean, that guy's like 400 pounds. You see a fool doing pull-ups weighing 300-400 pounds, and he's repping them out. He's super strong. Also had a cellmate, man. I think we called him Texas, man. It was this other huge dude. He was big, but he had the biggest forearms I've ever seen in my freaking life. He would sit in the gym, wrap his towel around the, because we had an intake system in the gym that would funnel fresh air in or whatever. I don't know how it worked. But anyways, it had a mesh lining, and he would wrap his towel around the mesh, and he would just sit there all day with his forearm, hanging with his forearms. Oh, damn, Dave, forearm workouts, man. I looked up to those forearms, started talking to them, and you know what? I started getting down with the program. I was like, Texas, check it out, bro. You know, now that I think about it, looking at myself from outer perspective, I would have loved to have someone like me in the cell block. Really knew how to cut up in a respectful way. I knew my boundaries. I would like to say I was a class clown, but not a fool. Anyways, I'm driving all the way down memory lane. I lost track of what the hell we're even talking about. Classification, that's right. We're about to witness Santa Rita's classification process. And even though it's on the West Coast, believe it or not, it's very similar to what I've seen. But it does have an extra color code in there that we didn't account for. Now it's 3:30 a.m. in Santa Rita jail, and this is what you're gonna see. First thing, run through the metal detectors. Then you're gonna get pat down, strip search, make sure that you're not bringing any kind of contraband or weapons. Fingerprints, wristbands, and even though they're not color coordinated like the story I just told you, wristbands are still very important when it comes to going to court or even being released from jail. Any kind of transport, they want to make sure that face on your wristband and ID number match what they got. There's actually been times where people have taken another person's wristband and went home under their name. Then they might ask you about your medication and other little questions here and there. But of course, next comes classification, and they aren't using the wristbands to classify them, they're using the color of their outfits. Blue meaning minimal security or minimal threat. Yellow is the complete opposite, of course, a little bit more violent and hostile. And red, believe it or not, is something that we didn't have in the jail that I was in. Protective custody. They had red outfits, but it wasn't just for PC, it was for segregation. Like I said, they put all them people into one block. So those are some of the first differences I've seen, but it's still pretty much the same process. Now there's one more step in this whole classification process, and this happens to be a large one in the California prison system. Trying to figure out who all the gang members are and separate them without them killing each other. And over here in California, the prison gang life is totally different from anywhere else in this country. Yes, there's gangs all across north, south, east, and west, but over here, maybe with one or two other states, they like to separate by race. And something I definitely didn't see 2 times I went to prison is Hispanic gangs calling shots. But over here in California, it's a totally different story. Not to mention the white guys. The white guys I seen in the prison system, man, they were not structured. They did not have power. But in California, they're a force to be reckoned with, and that's an understatement. And like I said in the beginning, this jail is perfect to train individuals to get ready for prison. Their politics are pretty similar. They got everything separated. Phones, day rooms, the yard, everything and everyone has their perfect place. Now another major difference when it comes to jails, not only is it gangs, but also how the inmates treat the correctional officers. The worst verbal degrading I've ever seen was Virginia inmates talking to staff. Man, they used to carry them, but in some places like over here in California, they're actually taught by many people to respect them. But there's a situation that just unfolded where someone attacked a staff member, and in California I've heard that the guards are a different type of breed. You want to respect them, you don't want them coming up into your house, but since an inmate attacked one of their staff members, they're gonna run in and start shaking down everybody. And the correctional officers, they really just do this to, make sure the inmates know they still got the power. If you want to try something like that, well, we got something for you. And I don't care where you're at. If it was a good shakedown and the inmates weren't ready for it, they're going to be finding some packs. And it looks like this place definitely wasn't ready for it, because look at all the prison hooch they found. Judging by all the personal bottles, it looks like every cell was probably whipping up their own little stash. I'm used to seeing wine being cooked in huge, massive bags, trash bags or big milk bags. But I gotta keep telling myself this is a jail. I can see I'm going down the prison road again. In prison, you get milk and stuff like that from the dispensers in the chow hall. Jail, you don't get none of that. If you ain't got money, you ain't getting nothing but a bag milk maybe, the size of your damn palm. Now let's jump into something that California is definitely known for, and that's their prison yards. Some of the biggest prison riots this country's ever seen came from this state. This is where everything goes down, man. All the organizations link up and moves get made. It seems like it's every month I'm hearing of someone getting stabbed to death in a prison yard in California. Which is sad because, man, I always look forward to going out to the yard and have a great time. Never thought for a second someone's gonna stab me up. So with that being said, man, I'm gonna wrap it up right here. My thoughts and prayers go out to all the inmates out there. I can only imagine the life-changing decisions that them guys have to make behind those walls. But you know what? It all begins with your choice on the street. You wanna do good or you wanna do bad? It's all up to you. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you enjoyed a closer look inside of Santa Rita jail. It's actually technically considered a mega jail over here in the States. But that puppy ain't got nothing on El Salvadorian jank. Not to mention some of my other reaction videos. I'll try to link them right here. Go ahead and click them puppies whenever you want. But hopefully y'all enjoyed and learned a little something about lockup. You know, hopefully you never have to use this type of knowledge. But stay tuned. You know I strive to bring y'all great content every day.